Joe knows taxes.
Joe knows the market.
Joe knows Social Security.
Joe knows income planning.
Joe knows pickleball? No.
This is Joe Knows Retirement.
Welcome into the conversation. Joe Schmitz from Peak Retirement. Joe, thanks for being here. We have a lot of questions for you with all of this and finances and how it plays a part. But let me ask you, in your generation, what did you think when you saw the images on TV of what had happened to Donald Trump? Boots was the one who let me know. I was getting ready to go to the cemetery because I just got back from a week-long vacation, and I wanted to go visit my fam, especially my mom. And I get in the car, and Boots sends me this video text of what happened. I pulled right back into the garage, and I had to see the images for myself. So where were you?
Yeah, so actually when I saw I saw an image on social media, and when I saw it, I thought it was fake. I thought it was just a image created, manipulated to just make Trump look like, hey, I'm tough and I'm going to, be here to serve the country. And then I started seeing it multiple times, and I'm like, oh, shoot, something actually happened. And I looked it up because you don't expect that to happen. Mm-mm. And so when you don't see it live or you don't see it, you would never expect it. So it was a shock. I would say I'm not necessarily surprised, as Mindy, you just shared that, that plane there. But you just would never expect this out of anyone. It's just unreal.
I'm lost. I don't even know what to say. We're worrying about the economy now. Is this going to help the stock market? Is it going to help retirement funds? This may be a positive thing.
Yeah, so, I think it's, as Mindy said, I think everyone's expecting Trump to win at this point. I think everyone's rallying behind him. His true fans are coming out even stronger. And as we all know, with his policy and what he's trying to do, it's definitely going to spur the economy is what everyone's expecting.
Good.
And, Trump's big into lower regulation, so that's great for businesses. He's for lower taxes, which is great for businesses. He really supports small businesses as well. And he's looking at, with some of the tax cuts coming here in 2026, those are set to go up. That's what he implemented in 2017, and that's set to expire. So I'm sure he's going to come to the table and try to get those extended. There's no guarantee that happens. Right now they're set to turn back. But I think he's going to have a strong push, and I've even heard he's going to lower taxes for companies too.
Oh, that rebel.
Yeah, I know. How dare they provide?
We got to waste money, not fix potholes.
We talked about before on the air with you the tax plan that's in effect until 2026. Mm-hmm. Explain to our listeners what exactly that is all about and what Donald Trump has to do with that.
Yeah, so put it frankly, most Americans will be paying about 20% more in taxes personally.
What?
Coming 2 years.
Say a guy makes $50,000 a year, he's going to pay how much more?
Yeah, so if someone pays $10,000 in taxes, they're going to have to pay $12,000 in taxes if they have the same income.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's the big thing there. So when Trump got in office first time, he implemented this Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is what it was called.
Okay.
But it was only good for a period of time, and that period of time is 2026. So this has been something we've been talking about with all of our clients is, hey, we have to utilize this window when taxes are what I call on sale. And we've got 2 more years of it, and they're set to change, so they would have to agree to get it to continue, which a lot of people just don't expect.
Can I ask you a question? You may or may not know the answer. When they give Ukraine billions of dollars, where does that come from?
Yeah, it's the same question of where does any of this money come from?
Billions. We're not talking 100,000. Billions.
Yeah. It's just anything in our economy.
But yet we don't have enough money to provide enough secret service and security around events that just unfolded in Pennsylvania.
It baffles me. Billions. I can't even do math up around that many commas.
Our country's spending is just unreal right now, and something has to change.
It does, all the way around, and not just financially, but something has to change. I will say this, though, Joe and Boots and everybody listening. Everybody loves a good comeback story. Mm-hmm. That is what makes this country go. When people get knocked down, they love to see people get right back up.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of that. I don't know how much more Donald Trump can get knocked down, but he's going to darn right get right back up.
You shoot the guy.
But
Come on.
If you look at the big picture, things like this, unfortunately, have happened in our country's history.
Yeah.
What has been the financial outlook when something like this has happened before? What has happened?
Yeah, and to your point, it's kind of the American dream, right? I mean, exactly what's happening right now is what everyone dreams of, right? Of not, having that opportunity, coming to America, getting the opportunity and making something of it. But if you look back in time, I mean, let's just go. I mean, obviously everyone has front of mind right now, JFK and that, assassination then. Market went down 3% that next day, the day the market was open. So obviously that was a short-term impact. 3% down in one day is a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look back, if you look 6 months from that point in the future, the market was up 15%.
Okay.
So really not an impact to the market when we see events like this. I mean, if you go back to 9/11, 9/11, the market was down about 14% over about a 2-week period.
Okay.
But 6 months, it was up 25%. So when you look at all this stuff, when you look at the market, as we always educate, as we always tell our clients, is the market is supposed to be a long-term investment, right? We're not trying to make 1 day or 2 day decisions. Should you move all your money out of the market because of this happen? My answer is no, if that money is used for long-term, ideas. So if you're going to need the money up front, though, maybe you need to look to protect it because there is going to be even a lot more uncertainty until the election occurs, if you were to ask for my opinion. So we just have to be aware of that.
Okay. We're going to go to break. We get back more with Peak Retirement and Joe the Hero. He's bringing us down.
Is that new? Joe
the Hero. He's
Peak
going
Retirement.
Talk us off the ledge. So this is Raw, Mindy and Boots, brought to you by the Metal Roof Company, protected by the undefeated American-made Tattletale from the Heartland Bank Studios on News Radio 610 WTVN.
Oh, people, do you worry about the world that we live in? Do you worry for ourselves and our generations? And what about the younger generations? What the heck is this country and this world coming to, where boys can be girls and girls can be boys? We can climb on top of a roof and take an attempted murder attempt at a past president. I mean, where are we living?
They're digging up his 5th grade picture right now. He was they're showing his diploma pictures and stuff. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
When he graduated high school, the shooter?
Thomas Crooks. Well, I told you earlier, my daughter's best friend, teammate, and roommate went to high school with him in Bethel, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And the district put out across the board notification to all the educators because Reagan, that's my daughter's best friend, teammate, roommate, who graduated 1 year before this Thomas Crooks. And her dad's a teacher and coach there. And this district just said no one is allowed to talk to the media. And whatever you say can be held against you, basically.
I guarantee his gym teacher or shop teacher or the normal teachers, not the English teacher, I think that they're sitting at a barbecue right now going, yep.
I talked to him earlier this morning, and no, he did not know who he was. He said he went through all the records, and he was in their building, but he did not know.
Someone knew he was Cocoa Puff. Because everybody, like I said earlier, we all had those 2 or 3 kids in our class. They're either dead or in jail now.
And sometimes you have to be the most afraid of the silent ones sometimes, because you never know what they're thinking.
Never pick a fight in a bar with a guy at the end of the bar minding his own business.
Minding his own business.
He's the first one to shank you.
Yeah. Joe Schmitz is in-house with us with Peak Retirement and talking a little bit about money. And we've talked about, my gosh, how campaigns across the board have just become so explosively over-the-top negative toward your opponent. And the Biden administration has pulled $50 million worth of campaign ads that were very derogatory towards Donald Trump. Obviously, they don't want them out there now. But that's part of the financial landscape that may change for our country after incidents like this happen. And, Joe, you look back at the history a little bit. Where do you think we go now as Americans? I mean, so many of us are already struggling.
Yeah.
So when we go to the grocery store, when we go to fill up our cars, we see it and we feel it every day. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of depends on where you're at and what you've done. If you've done well up to this point, and maybe you're nearing retirement, like the most people we work with, they're maybe thinking at this point of, I've got enough money, I've done the right things, I just need to protect what I've saved. And now can be a really good time to start to protect a lot of that wealth that people have saved. Not only from taxes and through tax planning now, but also through market protection. Looking at vehicles right now, I mean, with interest rates where they are, it's a disadvantage for most people. But for those who have saved, you can get a guaranteed 5 or 6% right now, and that may be all you need to achieve your goals throughout retirement. So for them, that's what I'd recommend. For those who maybe have not saved as much, those who are maybe younger, it's a lot harder. The game's a lot harder, but let's also keep things in perspective of retirement's never really been something in history. It's just kind of been a hot button here lately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go back to, the 40s, 50s, people died. They were working when they died, right? And
Right.
so that may be, prevalent moving forward too. People are probably going to have to work longer. So Security's probably going to have to get delayed. Medicare's struggling as well. So all I can say to those people is just to save as much as they can and try to be as frugal and diligent with what they have, and just make sure they're always trying to find employment.
All right, Coach Joe, tell me this one. A friend of mine, young guy, he's in his early 20s. He's a saver. I mean, he is a frugal guy.
Mm-hmm.
He called me out to get him a deal on his Germain Honda used car, and I found out a used certified, it's 3.9. Now, he doesn't have a lot of credit, so I coached him, and I said, here's what you do. Don't put a big chunk of money down. Put like $2,000 or $3,000 down. Take the 3.9 and make $1,000 a month payments, because your money's earning better that way. That's the best thing I could have told him. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think, Boots, we may have to hire you to be a financial planner for us here.
Okay.
And,
Are you kidding? Everybody would go broke.
I'd say buy more cars.
But no, that's a real thing, though. If you have an interest rate that's lower than what is on the marketplace, right? I mean, you can go get a money market at the bank for 5%.
Okay.
Take that extra money he would have put towards the car, put it towards the bank. He earns 1%. I mean, that adds up over time, especially when we're talking about how tight everything is right now.
And I told him to set up for 36 or 38 payments.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I'll make a payment every 2 weeks. I said, you do whatever you want to do, but make sure on your credit report you have 37 or 38 paid in full payments, because your beacon score then jumped to 850.
Yeah.
And you can get whatever you want.
Exactly.
You get all the credit cards, anything you want, because good credit is the answer.
Correct. For those that have interest rates now of 7, 8, 9%, though, those are the ones you're probably going to want to look to pay off or start to pay down quickly. But if you can get a lower interest rate, go for the ride.
My vet's 7 3/4 fixed for 60 months, and I'm ticked.
Yeah.
I'm going to
That's
ask you
A-tier.
a question, okay? And I need you to be really honest for me, you as a financial guy. Do you think, financially speaking, well, what do you think happens if President Biden gets reelected when you look at the economy?
Yeah,
honestly, and I want you to compare that to if Donald Trump gets reelected.
Yeah, so let's look at both sides of it, right? I'll say personally, I don't think it will be well at all, just because I'm, not a believer in their policies.
You're talking about Joe Biden?
Yes.
Okay.
But from a financial standpoint, it's going to be good and bad for people, right? Because look at the things that Biden does well for the economy is he wants to give people more health care. He wants to give more handouts. He wants to help, try to help as many people as possible.
And he wants to continue to help Ukraine.
Which I don't think necessarily helps people. I think that just gives them handouts, and then they just expect it, and they never be able to. It's like, would you give someone $1,000? Would you give someone standing on the street corner $1,000 to a homeless person? You probably wouldn't, but you'd probably do something to try to guide him or help him.
Right.
But if you just give him $1,000, it's just going to get wasted, and it's not going to be benefit. Is typically what happens. So in that manner, I'm not the biggest fan of that. From a tax standpoint, he's going to increase taxes. There's no doubt about that. He's been pushing ever since he's gotten into office. Which when we talk about taxes that can be increased, it's not just federal tax rates. It's when you pass away, if you leave your house to your kids, they can get a stepped up cost basis, meaning they don't have to pay taxes on it. Well, that could go away. So he's been pushing for things like that.
Why do they want that? I don't understand.
More revenue.
So they can do whatever they want and just be
more spending.
dictators?
I mean, just got to be able. They want to spend more, right? Anyone in office, no matter what stance you have.
So I can't wrap my hands around that. I just don't. I don't know. I can't wrap my hands around.
Yeah, I mean, it's the long told joke I always tell is when you have $0 in your bank account, and you go to the store, you don't walk out with anything.
No.
But if the government goes to the store with nothing in their bank account, they do whatever they want. They get whatever they want.
I don't know.
No, you compare it to people who consistently live above their means. They spend money that they don't have.
Right. And we would never do that.
And
I think, are you kidding me? No, I hate to
she's
spend
frugal.
money, period.
But I am a money spender. I get it.
Yeah, you do. Because Boots is like, you can't take it with you. And I get that mentality too. But you can't be stupid about it.
No,
right.
but I only spend money because I have money coming in.
Yeah.
But I've never spent money I didn't have.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I want you to hold that thought, because then I want you to compare the financial situation and the outlook of the United States of America if Donald Trump gets reelected, because I think the two are complete opposites in so many different ways.
Correct.
All right, Raw, Mindy and
Polar
Boots.
opposites.
Yeah, Raw, Mindy and Boots on News Radio 610 WTVN.
Well, Boots, this pains me to say, but you were right. When I first came in the studio, Boots has been on the air since noon talking about the attempted
fizzling
assassination
out.
of Donald Trump. And you said the other side, the liberal side, was basically laughing and making fun of the
They're
entire
insane.
incident. I didn't really see that until I just saw it with my own eyes. How, you know what? It's sick enough that the incident happened. And then for you to make light of it.
I mean, I did say one joke. I said Mike Tyson must have been the shooter because he took his ear off. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you sent that to me, and I'm like, I don't get it. And then I got it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're going all over social
down.
media. They're making like videos, reenactment of it,
I
like
know.
putting ketchup on his ear, like it's fake blood.
Well, like Joe was just saying that the handouts, people don't want the handouts to go away. You didn't say that. I'm saying as you were saying.
Oh, I said that.
If you get handouts, honestly, if I could leave here today and not have another bill,
it makes you weaker.
and all I
You
have to
don't
do
do
is go
anything to
home,
work
watch
for your
TV,
money.
eat, and get fat, and just live off checks coming in the mail, you can't blame the people. You know, if I always say, if you take a dog bowl with the food for 10 years, you feed the dog in the same corner, and that's all that dog knows, and you move the bowl over there because you changed the cabinet, the dog whines, you don't beat the dog's ass. You show him where the bowl is. We don't show the bowl to the people. We keep feeding them in the same corner, and we never fix the people. We got to fix these people. Just because you're third generation welfare, we need to educate these kids every opportunity in the world. If you're poor, you get free college. Take advantage of it.
You know what? This may be a stretch, but it could all make sense if you think about it. We live in such a softer society these days to what it ever used to be. And I've never bought into the type of society where everybody gets a trophy. Because what happens there? You never lose. And you never have to deal with failure.
Oh.
And then once you absolutely have to deal with something that doesn't go your way, you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So if you look at this in a big picture, the left side of our nation was seeing Donald Trump get so much support, and that support kept growing and growing after every conviction, and even especially after the debate, it kept growing and growing. So you know what? A lot of people can't handle it. So what do? They try to take him out.
Yeah. He had to have a moment by himself sitting there looking in the mirror going, I hope he never goes, I'm done. I'm out. I'm gonna
Well,
go.
you know what? He could very well
I hope
do
he
that
doesn't
because
do
he
that.
doesn't need that, but he is such a warrior. And he is such a fighter.
I'm glad he's
I think
that
everybody would be
cocky in a good
surprised.
way.
Right.
Cocky in a good way. I don't always agree with what comes out of his mouth.
Well, but that's okay, Boots.
But
And in
I know what he is.
America, you have the absolute right to disagree with people.
Sure.
And that's
Still
part
love one
of
another.
life. You're never going to get along with everybody on every single issue
But
that
if
is
he just-
out there in
just
society.
a little bit.
But you just deal with it.
But he
right?
did so good at the debate because when he said, after Biden fumbled around for a while and he said, I don't know what he said. I don't think he knew what he said. I was kind of like, the old Trump would have said, he's a complete babbling effing idiot.
Yeah, he's gotten a little
He's
softer,
come
right?
down a little bit. He's got,
And he needed to.
He needed to.
absolutely needed to. So we talked about what the country looks like economically if Joe Biden gets reelected. And we wanted to touch on what you see, Joe Schmitz with Peak Retirement, if Donald Trump gets reelected.
It will be interesting. Obviously, Trump is very for, government regulation not being a factor, which is going to boost the economy typically. And then he's also looking to lower taxes for everyone, which is always a good thing because now, people understand what lower taxes does for us. Lower taxes allows us to spend the money. And I don't know about you, Boots.
I like spending on what I want to spend it on.
Would you rather the government choose where your dollars go or you? And so, it's just that mindset of let's have us be the ones who dictate what the economy is going to be about. Let's spend our money where we want to. Let's not rely on the government to put it towards this or put it towards healthcare or put it towards these handouts. Let's create the economy. Let's spend the money. Let's do what we want. If we have more in our pockets, that's what's going to happen. So that's what a lot of, economists are big fans of is that free policy there. But, that's what we can look forward to with Trump, and then also just he really supports businesses. He really wants businesses to do well. He's a businessman himself. I always share this about Trump. Real estate is a huge opportunity from a tax planning standpoint. You can actually save money on taxes and get tax-free benefits from real estate if you use it the right way. And Trump's a great example of that. Everyone's like, well, he pays no taxes. He pays no taxes. Well,
he does.
He's very smart, though, of how he does it.
Right.
And he uses real estate, which is one of the biggest tax incentives you can get in the tax code. And so, he knows how to think this way, and that's what he's trying to enact to help.
I'm going to throw some math at you when we get back because I got a thing I like to throw at my smart friends.
And Debbie's calling in. We'll take your call as well, Debbie.
All right. This is Raw Mindy and Boots on News Radio 610 WTVN.
Joe Schmitz, we really appreciated you coming in studio today and kind of looking at it from a different angle, the financial aspect of it all, because this changes our lives in America one way or another. It really does. And you're such a good person to talk to for us here on the air and individually if anyone is questioning what they want to do with their money, not just after historic situations like this, but in general. What is the best way that people can reach out to you?
Yeah, if they go to our website, Peak Retirement Planning, they're going to be able to see, more about our firm, but also what we do. But we mainly help people enter near retirement and making sure they can live that retirement they've dreamed of. So they can request a time to talk with us there on our website, send us a message, and we'll see how we can help them.
All right, always a pleasure.
Since we do not know your specific situation, none of this information can serve as tax, legal, insurance, or financial advice and may be outdated or inaccurate. The information comes from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed. This content is prepared for educational purposes only. If you need advice, please contact a qualified CPA, attorney, insurance agent, financial advisor, or the appropriate professional for the subject you would like help with. Peak Retirement Planning, Inc. is an Ohio-based registered investment advisor and able to offer advisory services in Ohio and in other states where registered or exempt from registration.